And welcome one and all. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are here on the Free Forge. If you didn't know, here you are. This is not just this channel, but it is one of the most inclusive and friendly and just like a big hug communities in the Discord as well. Pardon me, I'm getting my life together. Welcome, join me as we get our lives together. Here we are on Say Alive. This is the pilot episode for Say Alive. This is based on the hit show. This is the not miss event of the year. Stay Alive on Wednesdays at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. I got it. It's a survival horror TTRPG with a game system designed by the very D&D himself. So if you haven't joined the Free Forge Discord, I highly recommend you do so. Oh, thank you, Gage. Thank you. We're also still accepting questions. So tonight we're going to be asking questions that I know that y'all have based on the Stay Alive episodes that have been happening that you can catch here on the VODs, on Twitch, or you can catch them on YouTube. So please go follow also the Free Forge on YouTube, where you can catch up if you have not done so already. And also Stay Alive. You can find out information in the Discord. So again, check out the Discord, one of the best communities out there. Exclamation point question to add your questions here, or we will also be looking at Twitter. We will also be looking in the Discord for your questions for tonight. If we don't get to it tonight, we will hopefully get to it in a future session with perhaps other cast members. But tonight, I am joined by the lovely Miss Mindykins and the very extremely talented Dee and Deej. Welcome in, you two.
Hi, everybody. I don't get to talk to anyone anymore, so I'm very excited. Hi.
You don't have to act right now, or do you?
We're like full-on adults.
Who's sweating? Not me.
It's me.
Also,
I am.
Make sure, listen, we had this discussion earlier. Don't be bothered by other hashtags Stay Alives out there. Make sure you hashtag Stay Alive your tweets out there. Pay no mind to other ones that might be out there.
I'm just excited. I'm in front of the camera and I can just be a big kid now. I don't have to actually previously. It's a separation. I don't like it. But hi everyone. It's good to see all of you.
Previously on Stay Alive.
Yeah, previously never. Because it's the first one. Nailed it. Got him.
Yeah, I swear.
You can swear if you need to.
No.
If you need to swear, you can 100% swear.
Listen, chat. You know that these are two of the most hardest working people in showbiz. Am I right or am I right?
Am I right, Michael? Exactly.
Survivors out there. Listen, you know where it is.
Okay,
so we have a bunch of questions. Listen to me.
Okay, listen to me. Sorry.
We are on a hype train right now, okay?
Yeah.
We're on a hype train. Thank you. I realized the hype train got on the tracks before we even started. So I love you very much.
Keep funding content, please. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Level 5
Yeah,
all the time.
do the thing and the stuff, please. Also, there's new stuff. So
exactly.
if you...
I need ham sandwiches and a whole bunch of subs because there's some cool things. Just saying. Just putting that out there in space.
There's a lot of stuff.
Putting that out there.
Keep on the edge. Keep your butt on the edge of your seat. Actually, no, sit comfortably because we'll be asking questions and answering questions. So be comfortable, but also look out for some fun things today.
Look at all the hands! Look at all the hands! It's cool.
Hams and sandwiches.
Thank you so much for all the bit. Oh my gosh, all the subs, all the
thank you,
goes.
Mima, for all of the subs. That's fantastic and awesome, and
Look
I
at all the
love
new
it.
friends.
Tim Grimm with
Oh my gosh,
500.
there's some-
Hey, Phoebe, Ellie the artist
Oh
with
my gosh.
300 bits. I
Zerk
haven't done
bitties.
this in so long.
Zerk
It's like,
bitties.
it's all pent up
Can we like
inside
throw
of
a
me.
while in your mouth? I can throw it from here.
Yeah. Throw your other bits in the trash. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
I'm here for it. We
Oh
we can
my
make
gosh.
another
Look, we just have
episode of stuff now.
We
Let's
can
go.
do it. The Zerky bits and pieces.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I
I'm
won't do the
virus
thing. I
tonight,
won't do
though.
the thing. Be
Warriors
nervous.
puns are the worst. but
It's
the
good.
best.
Now you know how we feel watching. Okay. We are, I know that you're nervous, but we are also nervous for you. And there's nothing we could do about it. We don't roll dice to help change things. The only thing that we can do is this hype train right here.
I can
Let
roll
us
dice.
have these moments.
Mm-hmm.
I
Let's-
can roll dice. Let's see. Let's pick
What are
someone.
your favorite? If you have them, show us
AJ.
your favorite
Ooh,
dice.
Just one sub. But Chris. Oh, it was cocked. 12 subs. Do it, Tiny Poison. I'm here for it. Ooh, 15 from who's that? Mers?
This is
Sorry. Okay,
that's
that's just
so
how the
sweet. Oh gosh, thank
You
you.
killing
Chris.
people off in chat. You're not allowed to do that. There's
No, I'm-
survivors here.
I
We're being
can't. I'm
incentivized.
ignoring chat. They're being too nice right now, and I'm not ready. Anyway,
That's
what's
exactly
happening?
what our community is all about. I'm 100% here for it, okay? Look, okay,
That's
let's
what
have a
makes the world
personal
go round.
moment, okay? Just me and you. Just me and you. I'm good with it. I just want you
We're
to know that.
live.
I'm 100%
Listen.
good with it. Like,
Hi, everybody. It's me. Ow, I hurt myself.
So this is a beautiful. Mindy is Deej and Deej is Mindy,
I
and
am.
this is the beautiful morph that happens
happened?
when you work so well together.
I'm you
Other
right now.
side note, everyone wish Mindy a happy birth, please.
Just
happy
birth.
happy late birth to Mindy. Happy
yeah,
early birth
hang on here.
to
I'll fix
It's
this
me.
stuff.
Deej. Okay, please. Whilst these things are being fixed, this is the
I'm so
perfect
old.
segue. What you just said about
Oh,
this
God.
current hype train, this
Oh my God.
train that we are currently on. I have a question.
Oh shiz.
I have a
Legal
question.
Fritzel days. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Thank you
Me
for saying
again.
happy birthday. I didn't mean to
Thanks. Thank you.
that's very
everybody.
demanding of me, but here I am. I have, what are these called? Like tufts? What are they called in a chair? You know, my chair is fancier than theirs. Okay.
It is.
Crepe cloth, and I've got a chair.
This
Clearly.
is just my normal chair though. Like this, I mean, I don't have an actual. Well, technically speaking, this is my normal chair. Technically
Oh.
speaking, okay. I pulled out the fancy chair for this stream. Just so we're clear.
Well, I have a question. Speaking of hype trains, that we have 2 minutes on this level 4. KJ,
Yeah.
question from the audience. KJ was wondering, this was submitted prior to the session. I wonder how y'all think the story would look with no items given to you by chat via donations, subs, or bits. This plays on the mechanics. So if you want to introduce the mechanics first and then tell me what your thoughts are. I love this question. Thank you, Cage. Really,
Okay.
that is you. That is you.
I would
That's
love to take this. I would love to take this.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see all of the stuff. It has some conventional components, but it also has some painstaking components that took a considerable amount of time to put together. There's a lot of detailed and hard work that goes into a lot of these things. And with the exception of myself, occasionally Mindy, most of the leadership in the Free Forge, a lot of people behind the scenes that also basically have had zero opportunity to get their shine. Everybody needs to be compensated and rewarded for their time and investment. It's a hugely important thing to support your content, but as far as the question in relation to how it impacts the mechanics, they probably would have died quicker, more quickly.
More
death.
and both.
Faster. Yeah.
Higher
So-
frequency, faster, and more. Just all of the above.
I'll tell you what's really real though. So we have as many of you might be aware, we have
KJ, thank
updated
you.
art that we run at the beginning and end of stream based on what the current survivor pool looks like.
Isn't it amazing?
It turns
Yeah,
out
I've
having
heard of
new
those.
art assets generated like every week or every other week, that also adds up. Did we dig ourselves into a bit of a hole doing something really cool production wise? Probably, but also it's like super dope and I don't want to change it now. But there's a lot of things that literally would have been affected. Like I would have had to decide between like, okay, should I send some more Zerk or like, can I afford an update to the overlays? That's the question that we need to ask here. The way that they've been able to implement it and play with it, I love that chat gets to affect the actual outcome. I love that it is directly tied to kind of furthering not just the content, but like the actual narrative itself. It would be hugely different. It would be hugely different. They'd probably have like an average lifespan of one episode longer, maybe, give or take. But also, when they got in trouble, they would be dead instantly. So that's kind of the give and take there.
That's the big thing.
That has been very clutch, I have noticed.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Rose, actually, spoilers for anybody who's coming in late, like plug your ears.
Just like a
Content
whole season
warning.
late?
I don't really know. Yeah, if you're coming in a
Both.
season late, Rose was like this weird underdog champion that, and Chris in advance was like, we're just gonna get this one out of the way, and like we all thought she was gonna die right away.
We thought she was gonna die first, or maybe second.
Close to first at the very least, yeah.
First or
second. When she would have died for sure, it was chat hitting the sub goal actually that ended up saving her because she had a bulletproof vest on that Julius had given to her. So it would be hugely different, and no operative Rose, no big twist collaborative ending thing, no ARG with Rose in the aftermath. Oof. It probably would have been hugely different.
Yeah, what a great question, Cage. That was so good.
We would all be dead.
And we would be dead inside. It makes us feel very accomplished. I'll say as a viewer, it makes us feel very accomplished.
We don't have a spoilers command. I'm sorry, Cage. I will fix that in the near. I'll be better about my command fixings.
Well, there's no segue to this question, but I tried, but we have some like wild questions. This one it can also be for the, well, you know what? I'm going to do this because Trevor, I think might still be here. I think he was busy, but Tattoos and Bones was asking a question to Deej out there. So Stay Alive is an incredibly dynamic and emotional series. Because of that, do you find it more difficult to balance storyline time to each player while keeping the danger and tension high? So because I am good and I'm going to interrupt you before I let you answer that, and then I'll ask the question again. The cast of this show includes Tony Ballard-Smoot, Chris Gideon, Joshua Simon, Mindy Hopkins, and Deej Storer. Also, spoiler alert, there were some other players in the game, notably one that just joined this past episode. Please go check it out.
Hi, Lucia.
Lucia. Is it Lucia?
It is.
Yep.
Lucia and Emma. So I won't say what happened or anything. What? Sorry.
Yeah.
I won't say anything, but other than there are some other players in there. So the question again, do you find it more difficult to balance the storyline and give time to each player while keeping the danger and tension high? Because we know that it is. So thank you, Trevor, for that one.
Yeah, I think that you have to. The big issue that we had or that we kind of ran into is we knew, like, so on some level, the show was built from the ground up to be much more consumable. We were looking to kind of put our business caps on and fill a gap in the market. So we wanted a shorter run time. We wanted it to be more bingeable to get through. We had a lot of considerations that we wanted to tie into that, but then the question sort of becomes, are you able to actually build narrative and story into a shorter time frame? So I think the challenge that we always end up running into is, can we get people to care about characters just in time for them to die?
Yes.
And that's not by design, but like that is kind of the question. If they're going to die, can we get people to care about them, or can we build them up in a way while they're dying? To like Mage is a really good example of, we didn't really get to see a lot from Mage, but a lot of Mage's character came through while he was kind of on his last legs, so to speak. So I think focusing on character element. Fortunately, the cast is like absolutely amazing. Like there's no way to otherwise balance that type of we need to go really really fast, but like, hey, let's take our time with the story moment, but like also I'm gonna throw two Xercules at you and then you're just gonna have to figure out what to do. So it's really difficult to kind of balance those pieces in a way where it feels purposeful, but still provides us an opportunity to actually explain what characters are about and why their story matters. And you know, you get attached to like Walking Dead characters and you kind of, oh, they're kind of, and then just out of nowhere they absolutely get ripped up, but they could have had a cooler story, but like the writers were like, no, I don't like that narrative anymore, just get rid of them or whatever. So
someone rolled on like natural one on that character.
There's some randomness to it because we're dealing with dice, obviously, right? But like as a general rule of thumb, I think the players, maybe Mindy would have to speak to this more than I, but maybe kind of like protect their character a little bit if they haven't given any narrative exposition yet.
Right.
But like,
I mean, I don't know if this is the case for everybody, but I would argue that it's probably the case for the majority of the cast. I feel pretty confident in saying that is, you know, character deaths are kind of a natural part of a system like this, a game like this, but character death just for like character death without some kind of emotional impact or narrative impact, like, right? So
who even cares then, right?
We, you know, and we have emotional moments we aim for, or big like pivotal moments or reveals that we have in mind that we'd like to get to. You know, there's always this little bit of in the background, like, but they might die. But we'd like to get to, you know, when you build a character, this is kind of the general idea. Can I get there? Can I hold on to them for 3 sessions? Because I think that's about how long it'll take for A, B, C, or D to happen. Yeah. But
I think Rose was actually a challenge just because we didn't have like a real narrative plan for Rose beyond like a few sessions, because everybody expected Rose to die, myself included. So we just didn't really have a plan. Mindy, we knew was going to play Poppy, Rose's sister, but we figured Poppy would be introduced long after Rose was dead. Fun little chat, sort of narrative feels moment, and then then it didn't go that way. So
that evolved entirely different.
Yeah, it's hugely challenging, I think, because you know, anytime somebody gets introduced, I see it. Okay, it's not that it hurts my feelings. Okay, it lets me know that I have work to do. Everyone in chat is like, nope, I don't even want to like them. Just they're gonna die soon. I don't want to connect. Right. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
well, you know,
it's definitely hard.
It is really interesting how you guys, like, how much narrative you are able to get into these characters, because you're right, you do see them for what perhaps is a brief amount of time. But Elle has a great question. L Street Gaming, hello to you. How many characters do y'all prep, since there is such a high mortality rate? How many do you have like waiting in the wings, or do you just like go a day at a time?
I feel like this is largely dependent on the player for a few reasons, because everybody kind of develops character ideas separately. So for me personally, this season I came in with 3 prepped, with loose ideas for the next 2 after. And you know, I don't go past 3, because as I play a character and I get to play with some of the different skills or the special skills that are kind of woven into the system, I am like, oh, but that one would be fun to play. Or I find myself in a circumstance where something is revealed, or there's an NPC that has something that's really cool. I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting to play off of. And then I can kind of build characters from things that are already happening in the season. But my go-to starting point is 3.
Sure.
With the
I try to have him get 3.
With the understanding that there is a very good chance that there will need to be more.
Probably at some point. The biggest challenge we run into is we don't know when people are going to die, or it's extremely rare that we would know when people are going to die. If somebody's like infected and they have an approximate clock, and we know kind of content wise what we want to pursue, we say like, okay, you're this is probably your last go of it. We can build in, but a lot of times it's like we haven't really had an opportunity and a chance, and like I know a new character is coming because there's something there. But I think even the transition between Adrian and Lexi was kind of like, okay, you're gonna have a sequence where you're like, all right, now I'm out, and then we're gonna have another character that has 0 opportunity to really expose anything, and then we're gonna go right into the next thing. So you're gonna be Lexi with like a session and a half of no opportunity to really be like a character per se. Yeah, so it's kind of one of those weird things where even having characters ready doesn't do a good job of preparing us for how we can integrate them into the narrative all the time. So that's definitely one of the challenges as well. But
yeah, I mean, each one of these are so interesting. Like how, from my standpoint as a person who claims that she is never a player of TTRPG, even though she has played.
I mean,
it just freaks me out. Like,
I know that's false.
You legit know that I have played. But how long do you give for knowing, to follow up with Elle's question, knowing that their span of time might not be that long? Do you do, after Rose, do you give more time for each of these characters, or like you have an extended timeline for your characters, or is it just like it depends?
Like to. We definitely like to. I mean, in the session 0 that we did pre-game, actually, with a different group that I was testing with, I killed 2 of their characters in a single session, and I think we've had like 2 separate sessions where we've gotten rid of 3 characters back to back. So we would like to give that time, but I think the nature of the tension is I think if you script that tension and you predetermine kind of what the result and flow is going to be, it might make for a great show, but the tension doesn't feel as real. You're just kind of hoping it has to hinge on the role. It has to matter, or otherwise it kind of loses something. So that's my perspective on it.
So in terms of the character piece, because kind of like you said, we have point A, you'd like to get to point B, but there's like, but having
maybe some Zerk in the way.
Right. Yeah. So having that, that communication with Deej and no spoilers, but like having those conversations of like, this is where I'd like them to get. And I know that there's going to be A, B, C, or D in between, kind of that collaborative storytelling to kind of at least show that journey, even if they don't get to the end of that journey, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. You can feel their sense of purpose as you play. And that's why we're drawn to this. That's why we love it. That's why we're here asking questions, because we want to know, how does it work? What is in that brain?
Why?
Speaking of that brain, let me. I'm so good at this.
That segue though.
The best.
This was, I'm thinking it's from Twitter. This is from Jen, is a shark, Mama Jen. For Mindy, how much of the creation process of the promos and teasers, holler at that intro, hello, everybody out there. Can we talk about that?
Right.
Faint and come back to life, please. Mm-hmm. How much of that is collaborative and how much is that stuff that you just come up with on the fly? You're like, this looks good in the Mindy brain.
When we do it well, it's very collaborative. When we'll come together, we'll have an idea of kind of tone, kind of aesthetic. Deej will be the first to say that's my jam, is I like things to feel cohesive. But
synergy.
A lot of times it'll be, we'll have a conversation about kind of what we're aiming for, what we want to go for. I'll tuck some things away and I'll be like, here's what I found. Does anything ring like a good thing? Is anything like not at all what you were thinking? And we kind of go from there. That's when it's most effective.
I dig it.
That's what that works. I would say that's what works best in general for our process.
For sure. I mean, I won't get into whom specifically because it's actually tied to some things in the very, very, very near future. But Mindy will absolutely back it up when there is no such thing as a first draft that is a final draft. Like everything gets torn apart and ripped up. And I think at first, if I'm being fair, I think Mindy really struggled with that notion because you look for the flaws first.
Why can't I be perfect at everything the first time?
Yeah. But we take a very flaw first approach and we try to make sure that everything gets shredded as soon as it comes through the door. Because as long as that process isn't targeted, it's a collaborative process, right? You're looking for everything that can be improved. So us producing content, whether it's teasers, promos, the intro, anything that's graphically oriented that me and Mindy get to collaborate on, it usually goes through a lot of tearing it apart. And then how we kind of build it back together and put it together is kind of the real crux of what I would say our collaboration tends to be. But
I will say it's actually both ends of the spectrum too, because we will find things that are like, oh my God, love this. Yeah. Which will also kind of drive the direction of other pieces and elements we want to include. So it's either we love it or we hate it, and then we kind of use that to kind of work towards.
That's brilliant.
Sure. I mean, she's obviously a masterful, talented, creative genius. So there's no such thing as something she would bring forward that isn't also including of a monopoly of good ideas already. But we produce slow, I think largely because we want to produce as close to perfect as possible.
Yes. And it's brilliant. It's such high quality. And that's why I think, especially if you're catching up on, again, shout out to the YouTube. If you're watching it out on YouTube, it just is like so exactly right before this.
Smash that like.
Do I do
Leave a comment.
Yes, smash it. Crush it.
See, y'all just let me talk about anything now. I don't have to be like narrative focused, all right? It's Jammy's job to yell at me and stay on topic now, so I can do whatever I want.
Well, I was like, speaking of, because I see, I want to make sure that we get to these because it is one of the things, and I know the survivors out there will agree, the chat, the audio pieces and the immersion that you bring with this. Yes, I know exactly. What more can we get? Not only does it look brilliant, but when you are listening, get your headphones on, get the surround sound, because this mess is crazy. There are audio and immersive bits of this show. So we have a clip, and I'd love for Deej to talk a little bit about this piece of the show, if you don't mind. Roll that scene footage.
Yeah. hit push the button. Carrying an emergency rescue saw. Immediately see one of them disappear as you decide. Can you hear me? Throws it back behind you as they're nervous. We need to get out of here right now. Energy.
When it comes.
Like, seriously, how can this let me give you some questions real quick before I ask the question about that. Let me give you some questions that were cut off of the list, like why and how dare that we weren't allowed to ask. I get to ask them because here I am.
Those questions are definitely there. Yeah.
Official list, but those are valid. Those are valid questions.
Can I just, before Deej launches into his answer, for those of you that go back and watch the VODs, or you go back and watch the YouTubes, or even if you're watching live, I think it's really easy to sometimes forget that a lot of these things are happening in real time. Mm-hmm. So a lot of productions will add in these cool sound effects after the fact. It'll be post-production. There's none of that This is Deej handling stuff, running the game, running tech, and finding little bits and pieces. And this last episode, y'all, if you haven't seen last week's episode, it had some of the best audio components I've ever experienced.
Go away, Deej, so we could talk about you. Like, for real, Mindy. Like, for real. I second that very much.
So
I deserve my time. I want my time on screen.
Go for it.
Yes, tell us everything, because I know you've shown us the setup. I don't know if it was a tweet or if it was in the Discord, but there was a picture of your setup. So tell us more about how and why, but more over how.
I run a Elgato Stream Deck XL. For those who are not familiar, it's basically like a really big hotkey tool, I guess you could say. And those are tied to individual sound triggers or individual sort of scene pieces or something to that effect. It's difficult to kind of quantify and beyond what you might describe as like a digital soundboard, which in and of itself is not particularly complicated, but we have one for the background music that's going to come in and play, and then we have one for like this small little bumps and creaks, and then the gunshots that might be ready.
The Zerg sounds.
Mm-hmm.
The Zerg sounds, those are all added organically.
Explosions.
Yep,
Actually, just the Zerg that Deej has in the closet.
So,
so
what I do is I try to basically have a multitude of things ready at any given point in time, very much like a soundboard, but I'll often sense a shift in tone in the narrative, or and me and the players, we very much communicate, I think, about what we're trying to do and kind of what direction they're looking to take certain narratives, and we stay very, very in touch on kind of what they want to accomplish via the session. But it's still very, like, one role could take you a totally different way, so I have to shift on the fly, and that includes NPCs reacting to them deciding to take this drastic action. I kind of have to have it all set up on a trigger while keeping it thematically consistent with the narrative. So doing it real time is extremely difficult, but fortunately I've been very familiar. My time on holding action allowed me to kind of set up a lot of pieces and get familiar with the way that more hands, what's up? So, I don't get to do that normally, so like I have to do it.
Hello.
Actually, you know what? Just because I can now.
Do it.
What's up, Master Man? Hey, Stiletto Assassin. Good to have you in here. What's poppin' crackin'? Oh, Miss Minikins. Glad you're also in the chat. McCole, shouts to the mod team. Also, KJ, hashtag best mod. Put it in the chat. I don't know if do we have an emote or a command yet? I don't think so. Obviously, Stemosis. I'm doing my best here, bro, okay? You gotta give me some time. You gotta let me handle it. Hey, Fluid, what's poppin' crackin'? Sound on holding action was dope, right? All right, now I'm good. I had to scroll back a little bit.
I get it. That's like how many years that you needed.
I just had to interact with chat for the first time in 1,000 years.
For the first time in
Oh my gosh.
That's true. I'll be out there with the realness, but unfortunately I do have a follow-up question related to that clip in a way, so pardon me whilst I indulge the man. Okay, Elle, he works hard, so he gets to have this question.
True.
Ask me the question.
That's true.
Do it.
The question from Mitch D. Sweet thing. He didn't say that. That was my addition.
Oh.
How much this was interesting because this conversation has come up in chat whilst you were going, so you haven't seen it, but our firearms aficionados out there would like to know, how much research do you do on firearms, gear, vehicles, military procedures, etc. for these sessions, so that whether or not that comes to play with the sounds you choose or what have you, tell us more, please.
Sometimes a ton, and then sometimes very, very little. Very few people, I think, know this about me, but I actually graduated from the police academy and have a pretty extensive amount of firearms training, and I've kind of been practiced and taught in hand-to-hand stuff since I was like 7. I have a couple different black belts, so I'm very well versed in. I'm very well versed in sort of close quarters combat and weapon proficiencies, and I think a lot of those interests and inclinations kind of bled into a lot of the media that I consume. And I think if you watch enough war movies, you study enough things, you get enough training, a lot of that kind of blends into a very reasonable consideration that I can sort of work in on the fly. But then I'm also just kind of like a huge nerd in some ways, where like the future technology, where Masi Oak is talking about how they can repair somebody's broken neck after like 8 days being frozen. Like I watch a ton of that kind of stuff too, so I get to incorporate some more fantastical elements into what I am aware of that is existing in functional technology. And because it's not a fantasy show, but it obviously, you don't want to have everything be super realistic, or that'd be awfully boring. I try to lend some additional insights that still make sense in those creative freedoms, but like for the way that the virus behaves and the way that it infects people and the biology there. Like I think Mindy will confirm. I spent like 2 months researching biology just to make sure it had some consistent.
He was real excited about it too. Yeah.
If we're doing something that involves like weapons or tactics or technology that I have a blank space on, I'll usually go to pretty inordinate lengths to at least familiarize myself with the core concepts.
Much like everything Deej does, he does it. It's 110% or nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Sometimes, yeah, like
yeah.
Sometimes
110% of the time we.
110% of the time, 98%.
It works every time.
It's okay. Sure.
Think about it. The math is there. Okay.
No, it's not. But okay.
Oh. What? I looked at my silly questions. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
I will not ask the silly questions right now. But remember that y'all, please feel free to continue to submit questions, ! Question here or on Twitter at the Free Forge. Make sure that you're following there, you're following here, you're in the Discord. Get it all, like every way. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because that was just gonna sound really weird.
Get it every way.
Curious.
Okay.
I'm curious about the casting process. I know that
not
both
in
of you
character now.
Hold on.
Lord help us all.
Let me hold this action. Friggins would like to know about the casting process. So speaking of that dynamic that we were talking about earlier and the character creation and all that good stuff, how do you determine who's going to work well together, or do you create characters knowing other characters? Like, when you create a character, is it going to play well with somebody else? Do tell. Either one of you.
I have my answer, but I think my answer is going to be way better and funnier if I let Mindy answer first. So Mindy,
tell us. Tell us now.
No, now I'm nervous.
You should like it. Is this how it feels on the show? Oh my
gosh. From a casting perspective or from a character perspective?
Well, a little bit of both, because I seriously loaded that twice.
I'll speak to the character, the piece of it. Basically, we just build characters. I think the nature of this game actually provides an opportunity to kind of have party groups that are not cohesive, because if you're in a Zerg apocalypse, like, you're kind of stuck with who you got kind of thing, which lends itself to an opportunity to kind of play in not necessarily super, oh my gosh, we're all fitting together and getting along and where. I mean, we've seen characters that will legitimately just say F you to the party. We've seen characters that will be self-sacrificing. We've seen every kind of thing, and a lot of times together at the same time. I will say there's usually a little bit of like, hey, heads up, this character is maybe not gonna be super great. We have those kinds of conversations. I feel like there was a warning when Dee and Crow stepped onto the scene. I'm pretty sure I gave a warning for one of my characters this season. So there's that, but we kind of just, if you want to play it, and we'll see what happens. They're probably gonna die anyway, so.
I dig that.
My much shorter answer is that there is zero coordination at all, and I'm pretty sure that tension is actually something that makes it super easy to throw static at the party, because I can basically tell who's going to be out for themselves, who is for sure going to stick together, and which one of them is going to throw themselves into danger to try and save somebody. So that is
it's Josh.
I love
it's Josh. It's always Josh.
Yeah, Josh
And
makes my
Tony.
job 10
Chris and I
times
are just
easier.
like,
Tony got caught with a
happy to
couple
be here.
bad rolls, unfortunately, but like,
good luck.
Oh, I know.
yeah.
It's the dice though. That's like the cool element of this. So this is the it's D6 based. So I don't know if you want to talk about the special mechanics of the game that you created out of your mind. Like,
without getting into the specifics, one, I am intending to release it commercially at some point. So, not just gonna write all the rules here, but
fair.
with that being the case, it is very, very simple by design, largely because we wanted to make it so if you were going to be running through a ton of characters, like you could get back into the game very quickly, which has proven super useful. But beyond that, like it's very comparable to, I think, a lot of the D&D mechanics that many people are likely to be familiar with, but it incorporates a little bit of kids on bikes. It incorporates a little bit of like the Fate core system. I kind of took some parts and pieces that I liked from other games, and then I very much did my own thing with how some of them fit together and what the kind of building blocks are for a character. So in a very generalized sense, it's not complicated at all. Many people who have watched the show, despite the rules not being commercially available, know more or less how it's played. But even beyond that, I think that there's a lot of really cool depth that the players could probably speak to more than I, but there's a lot of really cool depth that makes it feel like, yeah, I'm just like a person. I'm not like I don't cast spells. I'm not like a, mercenary soldier. Like even Mage, who played an operative, never really felt overpowered as a character unless it was very much like doing operative specific things, but couldn't convince people, wasn't able to run super long, wasn't able to necessarily find things better than anybody else. So everything has its balance, and it reflects kind of the way people get trained in the real life. They're going to have different skills and huge shortfalls, which is why we have some lovely -4, -5 rolls on occasion. But
I'm really good at persuading people to do things.
I mean,
Super
I don't
good at
disagree.
Being diplomatic.
Do
Maybe not
these
Lexi,
traits from
but-
real life? How?
Yeah, I mean they translate, but it's really you get a lot of variety through a very, very simple system that makes it quick and easy to play, I think, is the main takeaway for the system itself.
I think it's really interesting because it's so quick and because these characters are going to die. It's a cool intro. Like we all die at some point. I get it. I'm
Sure, yep.
let us be have our moment. But what makes it neat is as daunting as a TTRPG campaign can be, like this is a way to not feel like you have to invest your whole entire heart and soul into every character, because I feel like a lot of people put a lot of themselves. I mean, I know you do. I know the virus.
Wherever you are.
Bless.
Hashtag Team Wade.
Hey, put your Team Wades in the chat. Whoever's still here on Team Wades.
Wait, that's
Okay,
not how do people hashtag
this.
nowadays?
Hashtag. Is it
Hashtag Team Wade.
Hashtags.
Yeah. I know there's some Team Wade folks
Hashtags.
still lingering
I
about.
don't know.
I know we have some Team Charlie folks, but like Team Wade
Also
still
Team
has a
Charlie.
few cats on the roster, okay?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We should have
But
to
I mean,
choose.
like,
Still
are
some,
those-
some Team Charlie folks.
It's very Deej, and maybe that's why we love them so very much. It's like, but you don't, like, I know that people when they are like choosing their stats for their characters, they're like, oh, this is very me, or like, if I'm playing a game, I'm gonna try and make the character like look like me, so it's like I'm in there. But
Right.
it's hard, I think, for y'all. Like, it's not like a Horcrux or anything. You can't like take parts of yourself and just throw them into Harry Potter reference, please.
Unless.
Please let there be nerds out in chat.
Unless.
Don't do it. I swear, you'll disintegrate. You play so many characters, y'all.
Just saying.
Mindy's out here playing two like coming back to life. I swear. Listen, speaking of which, I have another clip. And by I mean the Free Forge gods of the world.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, there was a character reveal that shook the nation, nay, the world.
I apologize.
And you shouldn't. Listen, I'm just gonna say a word, and then we could roll the clip. Poppy. All right, that's all I'll say.
A little cooperation for all we are trying to do for you and your sister.
For all I know, my sister is in a room dying.
Operative Poppy, listen to me. You will provide a full report, as is always the case. And then you will be dismissed.
Stiletto Assassin, thank you for the follow.
Thank you. Listen, I'm gonna reveal that I didn't laugh this time. I saw the clip and I literally laughed so hard. Josh, I know Josh is working hard because Josh is about to move. So big ups to you. Good luck on the move. But man, blown.com, everyone was. And also,
Oh my God.
like how much planning went into that? Tell us about the planning and tell us your thoughts and feelings, because did you see the faces?
For that specific moment, it was a lot.
Yeah, that one was a lot of planning. That kept so here's the deal with making any kind of plans, and this is true for any TTRPG, right? You make a plan, you have a vague idea of what you're kind of aiming for, a moment you're trying to set up to, you're trying to build to, and then a bad roll, something happens, blah, blah, blah. Very, very common in TTRPGs. We found that to be especially true in this particular game. So this buildup was quite a bit of planning, only because every time we would kind of have an idea of a moment we were working towards, we would have to meet after a session or before another session and be like, okay, so we're gonna have to rework
somebody
this.
Died, or somebody went
this is looking
missing,
very
or
dire, or
yeah.
You're no longer in this situation which you thought you might be in. There's only so many things you can plan for. We always have like a generalized, if this situation is in place, we can go this route, but there's just no accounting for everything. And again, things just tend to be not one of those things you accounted for. So that moment in particular took a lot of coordinating to kind of have it be the moment that it ended up being. Yeah. Also, let me just say that Josh's face, it's so funny to look at now, only because we literally ended the session and I thought he was legitimately mad at me. He wasn't at all. But I was like, he hates me. He hates me.
It was perfect. Like everybody's reaction was just brilliant. And this is exactly the stuff that we love. The stuff that we love.
Oh my gosh.
But
a lot of work for that one, for sure.
Yeah. And so the preparation that goes into these kind of things, like I not that same kind of prep, because that was like a moment in time we shall never forget. But like in general, maybe from episode to episode or even over the course of the entire season, what kind of preparation goes into these beats, or can you even anticipate such a thing? Foolish question, perhaps.
That the Poppy Rose thing was only a lot of work because we didn't anticipate Rose living long enough to even see Poppy. We also didn't necessarily anticipate Poppy living long enough to be like an end of season character.
Right.
So the way that a character looks on paper is not reflective of their necessary odds of surviving, because Rose ended up playing a very passive, kind of standoffish aversion to danger style character, which you're going to live longer if you do that. Whereas Crow, who was built to be in danger, it was really more a matter of time of like how long until you're in the line of fire do you actually catch one. So for Crow, like, could have been all season, but you just miss one roll and Crow's out. Whereas Rose wasn't really built to make a lot of dangerous rolls, but didn't have to make anywhere near as many. So it's extremely difficult to plan because we legitimately don't know what the next session's going to look like, because if somebody rolled for their infection, and you can do it any way you want if you were playing hypothetically, but we don't reveal the rolls to the table, so you would have to actually apply your investigative process to determine whether or not somebody is in fact infected, which adds some additional fun to it, obviously, but you know, the players can't play around that. Like we purposefully withhold some of that. So it's extremely difficult to plan. So planning isn't necessarily laborious. It's just constant. It's just a constant.
That's what it
constant
is.
thing.
It's a you make
Yeah, it's a continual labor of love.
Leading into that reveal, there were I would say a few sessions where we were meeting a little bit early to make sure we had a few things kind of ironed out and in our head an idea of where we thought we might end up.
yeah.
And then we'd have to revisit it the next week.
Yeah. And then we'll fix it once nothing that we planned worked out anyway.
Right, of course. That was basically that whole journey.
Yeah. That's the process. That's the show.
Well, I have one final question, and then we're going to go into some special for all y'all still hanging out. We have some a special little treat at the end.
It's tight,
but
it's super tight.
Oh my gosh.
It's tight, but
It's
hold
them
tight to your
Thank
butt.
you for the gift sub.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Deej. Let it out. Let it out.
It just feels good to you know what I mean? But like we're still this is almost me still caged a little bit. Like I need to be
It is.
I need
I
to
can
fly
tell.
free.
We know.
Yeah.
But like we're just like
am I making
it's
a
like
vase? This is like a Patrick Swayze.
I don't know.
Vase
It feels
session.
like you're like in a cage, but like every so often you just like stick a paw out or something.
Yeah.
Like if you were like a cat.
Sure. I mean, that's
something.
definitely a thing, you know. I mean, but KJ, thank you for the gift sub.
Oh my gosh.
Please.
I
Tim
wish
gave it up to
Merv.
Zombie Mitch, so that's pretty spot on.
Zombies. Let's
Zombies. For the both of you, and
Oh God.
it's important as we're winding down this first episode of Say Alive, which y'all have done a fantastic job. I less so, but I love you all. I'd love to know. Cage would love to know, because Cage is here with the we're sandwiching Cage questions, by the way. Cage would love to know what the cast's after show self-care looks like and how do you decompress, because it is extremely important.
Well, thank you for coming out, everybody, for being here. That is all the time that we have got. We are going to.
You better have something. You better be doing something, or I will come over there.
We can only speak. I will say we can only speak for ourselves, but I will say ice cream has been mentioned a number of times the past few sessions, just in general with the whole cast.
Yeah, it's actually true.
I mean, we have our own decompression as a whole cast. We kind of check in, see how everybody's feeling, everybody's doing, talk about moments we really liked. If we have things that gave us weird vibes, if there were things that we are wanting to make sure we dive into more next session, or A, B, C, or D. We have our own collective, like, whole group, and it can be 5 minutes, it can be however long it needs to be. It kind of depends on how the session goes, what happened. And then everybody from there, I guess, kind of does their own thing.
It's a touch base. I always kind of try to include like is everybody good? Everybody feeling all right? Mm-hmm. A lot of when I do the little end piece and I lean back in my chair because I've been like leaning forward and I'm in character for an hour and a half, and then I lean back, there's probably a good, like, 20, 30 seconds where everybody just kind of sits there for a second. Like
Yeah.
our sessions are really tense and really tough emotionally
They're
sometimes.
very taxing. Yeah.
So we usually have like this almost kind of like moment of silence for whatever characters we lost or whatever characters we will be losing, and like then we kind of dive back in as friends and kind of take care of ourselves from there.
I will say, for those of you that haven't seen this season's episode 7, The Doctor Will Now See You.
The Doctor
that episode, Doctor Will See You Now, sorry. That episode in particular was very taxing emotionally for everybody.
Yeah.
And it was one where, like Deej said, we kind of got to the end and we just kind of needed to sit together for a little bit and kind of just sit in some quiet, cry a little bit. I don't know who would be doing that. Certainly not me. But yeah, so kind of like Deej said, every episode has a level of gravity and intensity, whether it is high action and high like your adrenaline's going, or if it's, you know, very emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
And kind of depending on which way the session leans is kind of how we handle the decompression afterwards.
Yeah.
We do it as a team.
Yeah. Well, that is, you know, comforting to know that you have each other that have gone through this shared experience, and then we as chat just go run over to the Discord and just dump out a bunch of like, oh my gosh, like slamming keyboards like Kermit the Frog, like
That's
just all goes out
for us too.
Yeah, we
like,
really
yeah,
like that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at any time like Aoife throws one of like the little it almost, I'll be honest, it really doesn't matter what it is, but anytime we're like kind of sitting there, I think it has to have happened at least 3 times, at least where somebody's like, hey, did you see the Discord room yet? Because we usually don't dive in there right away. We kind of take a quick second, and then all of a sudden everybody's like,
okay,
and we're like, oh shit, whoa. And then that kind of almost gets us back into the swing of things a little bit sometimes. So
yeah,
so that's fun thing.
It is. It's like such a cool place to be. And if you you know, for y'all who don't know, make sure that you're a part of the Discord, because you get to see all of that stuff and you get to just talk about it. You get to talk about it with other people who are like, what the heck is going on? Can you believe he just said, and for those of you ... like, can you believe? And then it cuts to the end scene. Like, we love it. We love it though. But speaking of, I know, I that's the other thing is like,
it's impressive.
I could go on. We will have other sessions. So I will ask the question that is on my mind in another session. So please
write it down somewhere.
Yeah, I will. I have already, like, in sorting through these questions, I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm gonna add another one or 2 or 3. But if you have questions, hashtags stay alive on Twitter, get in the Discord, ask your questions there, because they're being monitored by the amazing mods in the Free Forge.
That's right.
Y'all
Big brother in here,
keeping it locked down. Yes.
Watching them.
And
Cage gonna get
also
you.
in chat here, you could do the command in chat. But as a content creation platform that is so just magical and inclusive and wonderful, upcoming, there are some they've been looking into more content creation. So this has been announced. It's been like teased a bit for a while that more things are coming. So as some of you may have known, there were some applications for content coming to the Free Forge channel, and applications were taken. The applications, listen, open your earballs and open your eyeballs.
Balls open.
Fall.
Deej.
Fall. Tell us, Deej. Deej is like, listen, it's not impactful enough. You tell it, Deej. You tell us.
Okay, I want you to take your balls and open them in your ears right now. Then take them out so you can hear more clearly.
Yeah, just
Okay.
too late. You gave it to him.
He did it. I'm sorry.
You can't
give the
just
balls
pass
back.
me the mic. Like, that's not how this game is played, okay?
No, I'm kidding. You go. You have your moment.
You rolled for earballs,
My
and
earballs
I
are open.
won. Yes.
They're open.
So we opened it up tail end of last year, right before the holidays, which ultimately resulted in a little bit of a lag because like everybody during the holidays is doing stuff. But we have been hard at work for literally like, well, at least a couple months now for sure. But we were like hard at work on other stuff while also working hard on some of that stuff for the several months previous. It's been a very long running process that we've been trying to get together, similar to those of you who were here earlier in the session. Everything 110%, 98% of the time. So it's been a process for us to get it together and to really put the pieces in play. We had some phenomenal, talented people partake in the partay, and as Jamie had mentioned, we're going to be looking to repeat the cycle in the fall, and we'll be opening applications again. And that in and of itself, you're like, okay, but like, what about like last year though? Like, because I mean, maybe we should like, huh? And with that, just absolute choice segue. Mindy, what's up?
So you all may remember, for those of you that were hanging out for our last charity event, where we announced the GMs and the titles of these new shows. So for those of you that are hanging out with us tonight, you are actually going to get the very, very first sneak peek of the next production on the Free Forge. Honor roll. Roll that footage.
Honor roll that.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. Joe, your favorite vice principal. There's a red light on, what's that mean?
You think it's stoplight rules or?
Might be, so I should look for a green light? Just here to wish you a great year at Hillington High.
You talked to Coach?
Yeah, I talked to Coach, he's gonna fall in line. Hey Mr. Joe, he's about to what? What? He's about to what? What? He's back. Good one, you see me after class. You know, at Hillington High, our honor roll has the highest GPA in the state. Do you have what it takes to make the honor roll? Good, Jimmy?
You're all good?
Yeah, no. You know, I'm surprised they're still letting us do that.
Me too.
You figured they would have caught on by now. Turn that thing on.
Shit's tight, right?
It's great. Everything's great. We're having a really fun time.
So coming up,
Phenomenal already.
our one and only Stemosis is going to be holding it down on a new show. Honor Roll will be premiering early August, and we have a stellar cast that's going to be a part of that. We also we'll be making additional announcements as far as that is concerned in the very, very near.
But also, can we just like give Stemosis a shout? That was a Stemosis creation.
Can we
on
get some
that
hype in the
teaser.
chat for Stemosis?
Can we get some hype for that production, please?
Can we get some hype in the chat? For Stemosis, please.
Hype in the chat for that beautiful teaser that, of course, if you want more, then it did exactly what it was supposed to.
Yeah, it's literally
the hype
supposed
command.
to tease you.
That's beautiful, Jammy.
Hype just as hype as I could.
It's fine. It's fine. Absolutely.
It's gonna be absolutely amazing. It's a great cast.
Stemosis, I'm gonna be in chat every single session. Why ain't you killed nobody yet? Why haven't you
That
wiped
is-
the whole party out? Why ain't you killed 9 people this session? Anyways, continue.
Listen, and they're just gonna be like,
Yeah, that's-
listen.
That's gonna be a thing. Yeah.
You have to make sure you ask why and how dare, regardless.
Yeah.
The important
Of course.
questions.
Mhm.
Mhm. And you go to
So-
school. Okay.
Oh my. Okay. But like mood.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
make sure if you are not already following the Free Forge on Twitter, because this is just the first of many little reveals leading into the show. So make sure you're following there for more fun stuff.
Remember all that
What a
dope production
treat.
we were talking about early on that gets ripped apart 1,000 times, so it's like super tight? Additional stuff for that coming, especially with the cast yet to be announced. So
Oh
Maybe
my
just-
gosh.
maybe just the link's right there in chat. Maybe you just click it real
like,
quick. Maybe you
do it.
just
Clicky click.
maybe you
Give it a
just
click.
Clicky clicky.
go over
tap.
there and you're like, hey, I'm already following the Free Forge, and you know what? You know what I say to that? That's pretty tight. That's a super dope move. But also, just down near the bottom there, you got a little button. You can just tweet something up, just be like, hey, cool things
And
happening.
you know what? Hey,
Maybe
hey,
maybe you
guess
do
what?
that. Maybe you
But
don't.
wait,
I
like
don't know.
also,
It's up to you.
maybe also tomorrow, because y'all got the sneak peek. That trailer, that teaser trailer is not going out to the rest of the world until tomorrow.
Mhm.
Y'all got
Y'all.
you got the first taste.
Feel the
Got
special.
that first slice of
Feel
the
it.
pie.
World
Yeah.
exclusive.
So exactly. So when you see that teaser trailer go up tomorrow, make sure you're sharing with a friend so everybody else can get hype with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feel free to say I already saw it live
Retweet
on
Yeah,
the
it.
Free
you-
Forge.
Spread
was
it
there
around.
in the beginning.
Show it to your mama. And she'd be like, I don't even know what this is. And you'd be like, it's actually this cool show. And she'd be like, I don't have time for that. Be like, Mom, look, it's important.
You
And
have
then,
time.
You know, okay.
Bring your phone to the hair hut.
You gotta
Show everyone.
actually go through. Yes. Bring it on down to the hair hut, okay?
Exactly.
Right across the street from the Tim Hortons.
Hey, Eva, me too.
Yeah. This is
Lots of
it's
cool
so
things happening.
amazing stuff to come. The Free Forge is on the Discord, on YouTube, on Twitter, right here. If you are here, you watching, you better follow or don't. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but like it'd be really cool if you did. Like just
But you
like,
should.
follow.
You should.
But like you really should. But hopefully we will be able to pull some of the other fantastic cast members of Stay Alive, which, if you didn't know, now I'm going to tell you again, 7:30 Central here on the Free Forge Twitch channel, where you currently might be if you're here on the Twitch channel. Right. I'm doing a good job. Pat me on the back. I'm doing great. On Wednesday, every Wednesday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. I don't know the universal time for it, so pardon me if you know it out there. I know Solly would tell me, but Solly's in London right now. So
Yeah, if you're
Whatever.
somewhere wild, you can scroll right on down to that little schedule panel. And you know what you can do?
Exactly.
You can click
Click
on
it.
that schedule panel and it'll be like, hey, here's when
Tickle.
it's on. And you'd be like, what? Save the Google
Squeeze
Calendar?
me?
That would be tight. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
But that would be tight if you could do that. But you can
Yeah,
then
just
you
add
can
it
then
in.
save it to your Google
Yeah.
Calendar.
and make sure that you have your notifications on if you're following. Maybe perhaps you like tripped and hit your notifications and it's not on. Double check that little bell right there to make sure when it comes live, you are there, because you got to seize that moment. And also to go circle back around to that art, you want to catch the art in the beginning. Like you want to see it, you want to hear the music and feel the tension as it builds to the screen. Just do it. Just do it. Again, the cast: Tony Ballard Smoot, Chris Gideon, Joshua Simons, Mindy Hopkins, Deej Storer. An amazing cast, stellar, all-star, world-renowned. You want to know, you want to be a part of it. So that's why you
Jammy
follow.
Whammy Games. That's hyphenated.
Yeah. Go follow the Jammy. She's a
Yeah.
bright light and a gem of a human
Yeah.
being. Okay.
Cage, throw the
you.
jammy
No, you.
jammy command in there a bunch of times.
Oh, I
Can we
appreciate
get some
it.
jammy
I
in the chat?
appreciate it. Well, it has been a pleasure chatting with y'all today. I cannot wait to ask more questions and bother y'all in the future, because thank you so much to all of you who submitted questions, all of you who are continuing to submit questions. It's not just a now thing. Continue to do it. They will be addressed, whether it is on Say Alive or if it's in the Discord. We want to know.
Continue
So we'll bug you.
supporting the channel, and we'll do all kinds of
We
more
want to
stuff
keep
like
doing
this.
cool things.
Yeah. We
Also,
didn't
I've been
get the
talking about
secret
it for a
hype
long
train
time.
thing.
I'm for sure gonna have to do some more solo streams because I miss just absolutely being ridiculous and not.
Are you
having a
going to
time
tell
limit.
us? Are you going to give us more information?
Uh,
Can you sneak it to us? No?
Details have already. The wheels have already been greased. Okay, the wheels have already been greased. Because as soon as I start talking, Mindy does one of these things where she's like, Deej.
He gets so excited.
This is the beauty of it. I'm just watching.
It's one of my
this
favorite
happen
things,
in
but
front
some
of
days
my-
I'm just like, maybe wait a minute.
Yeah.
Just know.
We'll have
just know
information
as we-
out. Yeah, we'll have stuff out
I
soon.
can't be trusted
soon
with
as we
no previous material and not share it with people. Like, I'm terrible about that. But
It's my favorite
I
thing.
will try to. I do want to return to solo streaming. We have a lot of stuff planned for the Forge, not just the world premiere tonight, but we have, if we are able to do, keep throwing them subs, keep throwing them bits. You know, if we are able to do another Stay Alive session and bring Tony and Josh on the show, you know what I mean? Maybe we
Stay
have some
Alive.
more cool-ish. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we have some more cool-ish. If we have a finale episode with like the whole cast, maybe we have even more ish then. I'm just saying.
Just
Like,
saying.
let's keep that support very prevalent.
Help us keep this. Help
in the
us stay
chat.
alive about Stay Alive.
Mm-hmm. You know what it is.
But this has been, like I said, it has been a pleasure and an honor. And I am so excited to completely pull a Deej and say to those of you out there surviving, ooh, you like that? You like how it hurts? Ooh, it hurts so good. Stay safe. Stay alive.